economy side and talk about food waste. I know you're eating, but I already had this planned, so. But when it comes to food waste, right? What happens? We grow all this food. And how do we grow it? According to the big ag rules, lots of energy. Okay? And all of that food is grown with a lot of petrochemicals, right? And what do we do with it? We ship it across the country in refrigerated trucks. A lot of energy. Go to the supermarket. You and I buy it. Then we go home and we waste 40% of it. There's enough food waste in this country to feed the people in need 5 times over. There's something like 30 million people that have food insecurity, right? We have enough waste over here for 150 million. So people, this place, this linear penalty economy place, is a race to the bottom. How about if we go to a place where there's no pollution? And we're going to call this the circular bonus economy place. And why do you think we call it a bonus?
Because it's being real.
A little louder?
Yeah, a little extra.
A little extra. What else?
You restoring it back to the economy? You recycling it back to the economy?
Okay. Recycle. Those are all good answers, but they're wrong.
Okay. No problem. No problem with being wrong. That's
So,
why we're here to learn.
I'm going to tell you, teach you right now about the bonus. But we first need to look at this, okay? What was that password that I was talking about in order to get in? Close the loop. Close the pollution. People, this is how nature works. Nature has no waste. Nature utilizes all local resources, and it's called optimize. Over there, it's efficiency. Over here, optimize means to take whatever resources there are and share it. Because all organisms on Earth, except one, any of their waste is food for another. Except for one, and we all know who that is. You and me. With our linear penalty economy. And what happens is that everything locally is used. And as that's used by someone else, the loop gets tighter. And the stuff that would normally go to the landfill gets sent back to where it needs to be done. So, what happens? What happens is that as the stuff gets sent back to who can reuse it, we optimize it. Optimize comes in a lot of different flavors, and I'm gonna show you a little bit. I'm gonna give you more details to attempt what I call the circular economy collage. Collage is French for mural. I'm being trained by them right now to present this to you.
Amen.
This is the first time this has ever been shown in Memphis. And this model is something that imitates nature, and all the stuff that would only be fit in the landfill is a foundation to build a new prosperity. But guess what? As we close the loop, look what else happens. This part here is the earth, is ecosystems. The more we learn to repurpose, remanufacture, the stuff that's already been mined and drilled, we're using it again and again and again, so you don't have to mine as much anymore. You don't have to drill as much. And guess what? If you give Mother Nature space, she knows what to do with the waste. So let me give you an example of what happened over there with the food waste. Okay? How many people here in your kitchen, you have 1 bucket.
To compost?
I'm not gonna do that for you. In your kitchen, how many have 1 bucket? Nobody, good for you. How many people have 2 buckets? Maybe 1 for trash and 1 for recycling? 2? 2? You, oh, you have one, you know what I meant. Okay, no, I'm talking about, I moved from a house to a condo, and in my condo, 99% of the people have 1 bin, and all the old cell phones, all the parts from the dishwasher that came from the old model that they decided they wanted to hang on to, what's left over from the old parts, they throw in there, and they throw the food waste in there. And then the big truck comes along, grabs it, shakes it, puts it down, and moves on. That's what I meant by the bucket. One waste basket. So, 1, 2, 3, 4.
But mine is compost, and I don't recycle because they said they wanted to pick it up in my neighborhood, but they don't. And so at one point we were, because you know they offer it out right out here where we can bring our recycling, and we were doing that, but they kept building up.
I hear you.
So
In my neighborhood, they come every 2 weeks. Yeah. Anybody have, I have a friend of mine who has 3 buckets.
That's more like me.
You got 3 buckets? 1 for trash, recycle,
Yeah.
and the third one,
My third one is used for different.
food waste, right?
But no, I don't just use my food waste in there. No, I actually use it for different stuff besides the main trash that goes inside of it. So it's 3.
Do you mix the food waste with other things, or you keep them separate?
They separate because
Okay, that's the point,
too
okay?
much. Yeah.
I got a friend of mine who's got 3 buckets in his kitchen, and one's for trash, one's for recycle, and one's for food waste. And he used to live in a house, and he used to have his own compost bin. Now he moved to a condo like I did, and he puts this little green bucket about this size, puts his food waste in it, and every 2 weeks, he gives it to a commercial composter company. Anybody been to one before?
And we had something like this here as compost fair.
Compost Ferry, Mike Larrabee.
Right.
Yeah.
So Mike started a company
Yep.
where if you kept your compost and put it in a bucket and gave it to him at like a farmer's market every week, twice a year, he would come back with compost that you could use in your garden.
So they actually just had the Cooper Young Festival last week,
That's right.
and he had a lot of his buckets out there
Right,
for people
right.
to compost.
I've been to one before, and in fact, I went to one last January up in Massachusetts. It was really cold to see if these things work. And all the trucks come in full of food waste. 6 months later, those trucks come back and take all that food waste as compost. It's a really good idea, because all that compost now can be used to grow food, and that compost is usually going to end up local. So all the food, and that's another reason why it's a really good idea to patronize farmers markets, is if you buy their food and you compost it like we're talking about, it stays in the community. And what's the benefit is that, think of all that compost going out there, how much less mineral growth has to be used. Right? And if you put me in front of them, I'll get them so they'll never use mineral growth ever again. But that's an example. I have many more examples that I can show you. You have to attend my circular economy collage to get more details. But as we close the loop, right, we're taking resources and keeping them local. And my CPA friend here, one of the best benefits of having local businesses is the the money circulates locally too. Rather than giving it to some corporations where the money leaves. So this is how nature works. Nature works locally. Another way of looking at this is when we talk about efficiency in the linear penalty economy, another way of saying efficiency is maximizing, where you focus on one product and get it out as fast as you can, as cheap as you can, to as many people as you can. If you try to put effort into other things, other income streams, it's considered a waste. But over here, they have nothing to do with it. Because over here, when we optimize in nature, nature has multiple resources. So we start from one position of abundance, where over here, it's scarcity. Because with supply and demand, we're always thinking, if you keep it scarce, the price will go up. So you're always trying to find out where you can sell it for the highest price. And you're always thinking from scarcity. People, the difference is living in a casino versus living in a forest. Because over here in the casino is, if that one income stream works for you, you win big. But if something happens, let's see, do things happen that people can't plan on?
All the time.
And nature knows this, right? Nature knows this, that things can happen, so you have abundance and multiple streams of resources. When something happens, you get something else to lean on. It's called resilience. This is nature knows resilience. So let me give you an example of when things can happen. My speech coach was telling me during COVID, all the speaking engagements face-to-face like this dried up overnight. But he had also been working on doing training online and selling products online. So his speaking engagements were shut down, but he had 2 other income streams to help him get through. He didn't make quite as much money as he was before the pandemic, but he was fine. Versus, I know a lot of people who lived in the casino, they were doing real well before the pandemic, but guess what happened? Their supply chains dried up. And when their supply chains dried up, they're out of business. Okay? This doesn't have resilience built into it. After a while, something's gonna go wrong, and you're gonna be left hanging. Where over here, you're gonna have something else to depend on, because you're gonna have multiple resources, multiple income streams coming in. So, a couple of things. I want everybody tomorrow, when you go home, tomorrow, go get yourself a green bucket and start composting. Okay? It does a world of good. I can tell you, food waste in agriculture, you being the experts on this, is the biggest polluter in this country, the way we practice it now. So there's all something we can do. And food waste is a real good place to start. Okay? The other thing you might consider is when you go out and talk to your clients, maybe you talk to them about other income streams, about local resources, about maybe using mushroom subsidy for not only helping grow things, maybe you can feed the fish. I'm going tomorrow to Ounce of Hope, cannabis grower in Memphis. What do you think if I go to them? In aquaponics, the labor is number 1, power is number 2, and number 3 is fish feed expense. If I go to them and tell them, I've got a fish feed that's 10% cheaper cheaper than the one you're using now. Think they'd be interested?
Mhm.
What happens if I told them 20%? 30%? You know I got their attention. And you know what I'm gonna tell them? You can't tell them this because I haven't told them yet. But I'm gonna tell them, try taking your commercial feed you have and cutting it with spent mushroom substrate. Because right now, that's thrown out. There's a place close here that takes these cubes, throws them in the dumpster. And Joey, you can testify to this.
Right.
By looking at local resources, and that's one of many that's considered waste, but it actually can be valuable if you start thinking optimization. How can I use things that are locally available to help me? And every time you use a local resource and keep it out of the landfill, what are we doing? We're cutting down on the, what's the P word?
Pollution.
And another word for pollution, P word, is poison. You're cutting down on the poison every time you keep things out of the landfill. Okay? So, optimization. This is the way nature does things. And we gotta learn to realize that we got a lot to learn from nature. And it's an opportunity as we close the loop to create new jobs. Think of all the stuff over there that needs to be redesigned. All the appliances that have been made for over 80 years to be made cheap, and made one way, and throw them out. All to be redesigned. Think about all of the things that can be thought through as far as supply chain. Now that's something that you guys don't deal with that much, but in the business world, it's everything. And supply chains, if you use the same rule, look at Mother Nature. Mother Nature doesn't have stuff all over the world. Mother Nature works with its local. And why does she do that? Because it's efficient in ways that this doesn't understand. By optimizing local resources, you're going to use them more efficiently. And you're going to start imitating an ecosystem when your waste is another company's resource. How cool is that? And you starting to do it now. This ounce of hope is starting to do it, and one of my hopes tomorrow is to get them to understand how to do it even better. Okay? So, close the loop, close the pollution. And that is a way of you, me, all of us living a life that's healthier and happier. And if you want to know more details, stick around for the rest of the time that we have together, and I'll give you more details. I'll leave you with this one quote. Paul Hawkins, the great American environmentalist and writer, has said, it's time to heal the future and stop stealing it from future generations. Thank you. Okay, so I have a half an hour. If you would come on over, and welcome to the Circular Economy Co-op. Come on over. Gather around. Come on over. So normally I have 3 hours to do this. The French taught me to do this for 3 hours. I have a half an hour.
Okay.
So we're gonna abbreviate. We're gonna abbreviate it, all right?
Give me the
Yep, right, you need to be out of here by 1, right? Everybody needs to go. Okay, so I'm gonna just focus on this idea of optimization, right? It sounded pretty good a minute ago, right? And it's a way of, I hopefully, helping you change your perspective a little bit on how things can be done. So, what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna talk about that part up there, because that's my other hour and a half. I'm gonna talk about down here.
Okay.
The linear economy, take, make, and waste, and all of that is gonna be left blank. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna focus on optimization. Okay? And I'm gonna try to give you as much as I can, so you start to get a feel for how really good idea this is.
Oh, it's a good idea.
This is a really, and I'm just getting started.
Trust me.
I'm just getting started. Now, the way I'm going to teach it to you is by a model that we call the value hill model. Value hill model. And if you look to the right, there's 2 of them there, okay? And the concept behind it is this. With the linear economy, I'm sorry, I'm just making this up as we're going along as far as seeing this stuff. We're going to talk through. The linear economy, the way we do things now, pre-use means making this up. And that's, that can be the drilling, manufacturing, everything that happens before you use it. And then when you use it, you don't use it for too long because, right? So a new model comes around. You're perfectly happy with that dishwasher. You got to get rid of it and get the next one. Right? And then a lot of times it's like, I really don't want to. This is working fine for me. But as Americans, we're told it's got to go. And then it comes out and bang, post-use you need right off to the landfill.
Right.
All the work and time and energy, American ingenuity that went into making that stuff, thrown away, gone, wasted. And I'm not even talking just the fossil fuels. I'm talking all the minerals. I'm talking about all of the materials and energy that went into that along those value chains all over the world, gone. Think of this, people. If a pre-use, use, and post-use, same thing. But what if we looked at reducing the pre-use, which is what you hear a lot nowadays about slowing down and reduce, reuse, okay? But then you get in front of the TV every night, and an average American sees about 3,000 ads a day, and they're all about buying new, buying new. Okay, so this one in this country is real hard. But in other places, they think about this a lot more deeply, and we're going to go into that in just a second. Once the stuff gets out there and it's being used, when they use, we optimize it. And what that means is making it last. The longer you can make something last, the better it is for you, because you don't have to buy a new one. And it keeps it out of the landfill. Okay? And we've got all sorts of ways of optimizing. And I only have 25 minutes. I wish I had more time. But anyways, I'm gonna do the best I can. You see how the top of the hill here is stretched out? We really want to use things as long as possible because you pay for the value of it. And the longer you use something, the more you get out of it free. Because you've already got it. Keep using it. Keep using it. Stretch it out.
Right.
I've got a toaster that works just fine. I don't need a new toaster. Click, put the bread in, click, comes out 5 minutes, it's perfect. Then the
And
wash.
I just want to interrupt, and that's real to these guys. when you go see your clients and, you know, the tractors, right? Harvester case, not only is the note probably $1,000 a month or more.
Yes.
Right? But each new implement that comes out, right? You never end up paying for the tractor. All you do is have a note that just gets bigger. And farmers wonder why they can't make money, right? They're getting the new attachment, which is good for farming in a way that is wasteful, right? By not healing the soil, of course.
Let me ask you something, those manufacturers, have they ever seen an attachment they didn't like?
Of course not, right? But they have a different model. Their model, as you were saying, is to sell something that supposedly makes life easier for the farmer, but the farmer can never get out of debt, right? So.
And this is a real good point, because you know it better than me. Most farmers in this country are underwater. In 2023, 2 years ago, the average income for the farmers across the country was minus $900. Yeah. But then it gets even better, people. Once it can all go any further, we find a way of repurposing it. There's lots of ways of taking something old and repurposing it. We can remanufacture it, give you the same warranty, maybe put a few features in it, but it's still the old tractor that you have, and it costs a lot less to get that upgrade. Because I don't know about you, I'll buy used all day long if you give me the warranty. If I have a purpose in mind, I'll buy used all the time. And what that does is the value of over here when we work in it, when we mine it, when we manufacture it, is saved. Because once it goes in the landfill, you lose it. But when you bring it back, people can reuse that material again. And every time you do that, it takes pressure off, have to drill and mine more. And when you do that, every time you do that, you're giving nature a little space. And what was that rhyme I just made up? Nature knows what to do. When you give nature space, it knows what to do with the waste.
Yep.
Right? Okay. All right. So now let's go over here, and I'm going to do the best I can to talk about the pre-use and use and post-use, and we're going to use cards. This is one of the things that attracted me to this was the use of cards. Isn't this nice? You can feel it, touch it. And I'll start it off.
Oh, you got it.
Okay, yeah, you can hold on to that later, but by all means, you can have that. So, when it comes to pre-use, and I'm telling you, it permeates throughout everything here, is the design. In the circular bonus economy, we design things at the beginning for the end. Eco-design, you can call it many things, but the idea is to design it with the understanding that someday that's going to not be able to be used for a specific purpose. How do you use it for other things? Just the way nature does it. Did you know more than 80% of the environmental impact of a product is determined at the design stage? At the design stage. So that's the big one. Could you be so kind as to read this one? Maybe the big writing and what's in the white.
Alright, sustainable distribution. Did you know that supply chain is short when it minimizes the number of intermediaries between producers and consumers?
No, we don't have time for that. But sustainable distribution, and you people are practicing right here. When you have that local produce, goes to the farmer's market, think how many middlemen you're cutting out. But when you do that, think how much fuel is being saved. That alone, all that lettuce coming from California, saved. You buy his lettuce, you save all that fuel, and it tastes a whole lot better. Industrial ecology, could you read that one for us, please?
Okay.
What's in the white?
It says, did you know industrial ecology is based on the concept that one's organizational waste can be another's raw material?
Right.
Okay? People, this isn't something that I made up. There's a in Denmark, way up there. They've been going strong now since the 1960s. So that's over 60 years. And you have things like a boiler company heating hundreds of thousands of homes on this island, and each is over 25 different companies, and each is using the other one's waste.
Yes.
And it's really helpful because how did they do it the last time? They had to import it from all over the place in Europe. Now they can get local stuff, and they can get it cheaper, they can get it better, and it's a whole lot cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Next one, please.
Local bio-based materials.
Oh,
Did you know over half of a building's carbon footprint comes from the construction materials used?
I'm in Toastmasters. I was sharing this. I'm in a building that was built in the 1800s, and the owner 10 years ago renovated it. Before he bought it, there were 16 people working in this building. Now that you renovated it, there's 60. And these aren't large corporations. These are entrepreneurs, CPAs, lawyers, photographers. There's even a wedding gown designer person. All local people that are in this building. And he's kind enough to give us space for our Toastmasters every couple of months, every couple times a month. And by taking old buildings, like we've been doing downtown here. I walked around this morning. First time I've been in Memphis. And I was impressed with all the old buildings. And I'm saying to myself, look at that, look at that. They're fixing them up. They're beautiful.
Versus Nashville, right?
Yeah.
Nashville is the other side.
Yeah.
You have all of the cranes in Nashville. And Nashvillians hate it. They always like coming to Memphis saying, wow, it's got
Right?
flavor.
Right. No,
And Nashville looks like Atlanta.
you take the same building, the same size, and refurbish versus building new, you use 90% less materials and energy. It's huge. And then what happens with that old building 10 years, 20 years from now? You need to upgrade it? You upgrade it. Can you imagine talking to the people in the 1800s? We got to put Wi-Fi in. They're going to be like, what are you talking about? Wi-Fi. So that same building, who knows what they're going to be putting in 100 years from now? We're not going to know what it is because it's beyond our ability to know. But they're going to save a lot of energy. So that's a good one. And one last one on this one. And we'll put all these cards like this.
This one's sustainable procurement. Did you know if 5% of European products were eco-labeled, we would avoid polluting 12 billion liters of water and emitting the equivalent of 1 million Europeans worth of CO2.
Isn't that amazing? Now we're going to work on. So we've done the slope here. Did I give you some ideas on how the pre-use can work? Now we're going to work on the top part here, optimization. One of my favorite words. Because there's so many ways, colors, and shape comes in. So, want to hit us off?
Sure do. Sustainable consumption. Did you know that the European Green Deal aims to make all packaging fully recyclable by 2030?
That's only 5 years away. Can someone tell me what's wrong with taking packaging and reusing it? Because when you get a package from Amazon, I don't know about you, but I don't care about the packaging. I want to know what the package is. And what do I do with the rest of the stuff? I just pitch it. Why doesn't that go back and be reused again? Because over there, they're trying to maximize everything. But over there, they know that that's optimizing something. And when you do that, just think how much plastic you keep out of the landfills. Right? Sustainable consumption comes in many different forms. We'll talk about it more another day. Darren, can you read that one for us?
Product as a service. Did you know the product as a service model could present new opportunities for typically underutilized products? And this is what, I live downtown, so I see this all the time. They're showing bicycles.
Yeah.
You all know that bicycles and the scooters
Yeah.
and things like that, which they call the last mile
Yeah.
to get to home, to get to wherever you want. You don't have to walk in 90-degree heat, right? So it's interesting. But you know what? The bicycles never took off because I think it's more work.
It's more,
We
yeah.
were in Nashville. I was in Nashville this past weekend, and I was talking to my boyfriend about it because we were like, "Oh, let's take a scooter." He's like, "Why don't we take a bike? Like it has a basket on it and everything,
Right.
but you got to pedal to get it started.
Right.
Where the scooter is just you push off once and you're good." And I was like,
Optimization. I want to teach you a term right now.
Right.
It's called intensity of use. Drill bit. Typical drill bit. How many times, how many minutes, how many times is it used in its lifespan?
Depending on the user,
How many times is it, how many minutes of use?
a couple seconds.
No, a little more than a couple seconds.
Oh, in a lifetime? Oh, yeah, it's gonna
Yeah,
be
that's
used depending on the user.
You know, a drill bit like this, I
Only take a
think
couple
of my dad's, I've had this for at least 20 years, right?
Oh, wow.
In 20 years, a typical drill bit like this is used for about 12 minutes. Because when you buy a drill bit, you're not really buying the drill, you're buying the hole.
That is true.
and,
That is.
and how many times do you have to drill the hole? Well, not that often, but that hole's gonna be right. So what are you told to do? Have a whole bunch of drill bits. And you're only gonna use it
Size, right?
this one size probably once every 5 years. So wouldn't it be cool if you could go someplace local and say, I need a 3/16 drill bit because that new TV that my wife wanted, I didn't want it. That's not true, but we'll just say it. And you have to put a new hole in the wall, and you gotta make it sure it's exact because you don't want the hole to be wrong. And they made it metric. I don't have it metric. So if you could go to someplace and use it for a day and give it back. How cool would that be? Because now, rather than all of us owning a drill bit, we could pass this around. Reuse just one. You'd get a better deal because, I don't know, drill bit like this maybe what? $10, $15?
Yeah.
Okay? Where if I was to rent it as a private service, I could probably get it for a couple bucks. And I just wanted for like one day to drill that one hole. Okay? So product as a service is a really good idea. Because at the same time, you're going to get to know your customers better. And you're going to be able to work with them. So the value and the convenience, it's going to go up. This is more than rental. Rental is part of the linear thinking. I'm trying to get you over to the circular thinking, where if somebody rents something from me, not really renting it, I'm giving them to use it as a service. So that's going to motivate me to make sure that whatever you got, you're happy with. Because the happier you are, the more you're going to come back and rent my stuff. Okay? Okay. Another one, please.
Sharing economy, did you know how much time do you think a drill is actually used during its full lifespan?
Huh. 12 minutes. So intensifying use is a really good idea. How many of your farmers have implements they use once a year for maybe 3 or 4 days?
The harvest ones. Harvest. Right.
You know, the harvest might go on for 2 weeks or a month, right? And then the other 11 months, the stuff sits over there and rusts. Wouldn't it be cool if the farmer could go in there and get product as a service, get that harvester for a month at, what, a tenth of the price of a new one?
That's not good for the manufacturer. He wants you to
Everybody.
buy it and have it sit, right? I mean, but Ed, so
All right,
wait,
but let's face it,
Only
this
buy
room, who
products
we
you
rooting
use to
for?
make
The
money.
farmers or the manufacturers?
Well,
Only buy
The
products you can
farmers,
use.
The farmers
to
gotta come
generate
first.
we have to change the way we do things, because what you're talking about, we could employ a lot
Only
more
buy
people
products
in
that you can
repurposing
use
things.
to make.
And how would they be employed? Locally, because that's how nature does things. Nature takes local resources and uses it.
Yep.
And, oh, I could go on and on, I only have 9 minutes. Oh. Could you read that one for me, please?
Retrofitting and renovation. Did you know a building renovation generates a carbon and material footprint 10 times smaller than that of a new construction?
Huh. We already talked about this one, right? But retrofitting and renovation is a really good idea, okay? Okay.
But we're taught, we want the new thing, right? New's pretty. Right, new is better.
So now, once we've done everything we can to make the thing last. Oh, by the way, does anybody ever use the website fixit.com? Have anybody ever heard of it?
No, I haven't heard.
I have heard.
Fixit.com.
And the only reason I know is.
You know what their saying is? You ready? Don't take broke for an answer. They get 100 million hits worldwide a year. And what they do is they sell kits. For instance, like your cell phone, if you crack the screen, they'll sell you the screen and there's a couple of tools you need for small money. Because I don't know about you, but it takes me a long time to go through the learning curve to figure out how to use the damn thing. And once I use it and it works for me, I just want it to work the way I know how it works. It works. So when something happens to it, I really want to just fix it because I'm happy with it. I don't want a new one.
Right? And repairs cost a lot of money. It's almost, that's why they encourage you to buy insurance, right? Buy insurance at $5 a month. Which is crazy.
Yeah, and what's happening with what's happening?
Right, exactly.
Your mouth is full, so I won't ask you to read.
Because we think only $5 a month.
Don't get me going on insurance. No, I gotta pull back. I can talk to you hours about insurance. Let's continue. We're doing well. We're over now in this sector. So we've done everything we can. We've shared it. We've brought the service sustainable. We've retrofitted it. But
He probably talked about it already.
now we gotta go to the next stage. Reuse.
Reuse. Did you know the European secondhand market is now worth over 32 billion euros and is projected to reach 86 billion by 2028.
3 years from now, people.
It's gonna
So this
almost
is-
triple.
So this idea of reusing things is not something that is way out there as you think. It is in this country because we're behind the rest of the world. But that's another story for another day. How about the next one?
I have recycling. I'm a big proponent of recycling.
Okay.
Did you know less than 1/3 of all plastic packaging is actually recycled? We have to reduce.
And one of the problems with the plastics is that there's 100 different patents on how it's made. And part of the group that I'm working with called the Ellen MacArthur Foundation is working on standardizing what's in the plastic. And if they did that, then it would be, because now when the plastic goes into the recycling centers, it's a nightmare because they're all chemically different. They're all over the place. And it's one of the, I'm not gonna talk about AI using that. No, that's another day. But anyways, recycling is okay, But I'm gonna tell you, in the hierarchy of things, in that economy, the bonus economy, it's almost considered a failure. Because if you haven't designed it right, if you design it right, it shouldn't have to be reused, but maybe, how about this one?
Refurbishing. Did you know the environmental impact of a refurbished smartphone is just 10% of what a new one is just 10% of that of a new one.
There's a French company that sells just refurbished cell phones. And everybody's buying them because they're half the price of a new one, and they work just fine.
And you get a warranty.
And you get the warranty. If you give me the warranty, I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna buy it.
That's all my brother purchases.
Okay?
Refurbished
So, refurbishing. How about another one over there? Over that one. No, anaerobic, wait a second, what's that one? Yeah.
Yeah, maintenance and repair?
Oh, yeah, let's do that one.
Yeah, did you know worldwide there's a trend to promote right to repair laws? France has imposed a repairability index for some products.
Yeah, yeah. The Europeans are getting hard on, if you make it, you own it. And if it goes into the landfill, you pay the tipping fees, not me. Isn't that, doesn't seem
But
right?
that makes sense. That
So what's their motivation?
So their
To
motivation
stop
is
paying
to
the
make-
tipping fees.
right. And that's something that's reusable.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
see,
Or just building a quality
Yeah,
product.
I gotta
right,
look into
right.
more to that.
and so really, when you give us these ideas, right, which we all think are, make sense, right? It's really, how do we change our whole economy, our whole mindset into where Europe is? What did Europe, and
Gotcha.
maybe
That's
they
what I-
weren't into capitalism like
you gotta
we
do
were.
some
Ever,
YouTube
because
research.
they get 6
Hours.
weeks off each year, right? Because they believe in mental health and relaxation, right? But I mean, so maybe we've gone too far to the extreme. How do we bring it back in and be
Really
more
good question.
European-like?
My immediate question is, just worry about Memphis.
Yeah.
Worry about your own community.
Right,
And
don't
how,
worry
and how
about it.
you can look around and look at the resources that you have here. And how can you use it better? And every time you find something local that you can use, you're helping your community. You're helping the planet. Because again, the more space we give nature, she knows what to do with the waste, right? Yeah. So work on the community level.
You are saying keep it local, right? Which makes sense. Because it's
Because
all
if
local, right?
Yeah, because if everybody kept it local, it will,
Right, right.
you know,
Nationwide.
organically become a nationwide.
But we need to have a campaign to get us to recognize the importance, just like we're reading the cards. And we aren't shocked, right? No one's shocked
No.
with anything that's on the card, but.
And it has to be that way because the resources here in Tennessee are different than they are in Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
They're different. I had a person in my condominium complex, she was from Texas, and we helped her, she was part of our community growing, and how growing in New Hampshire is different than Texas.
Yeah.
You gotta adapt to the local conditions.
Right.
But every time you do that, you cut down on the poison. Think of that. And if I had more time on this, I'll leave you with this other thought. When it comes to